Welcome to the deep dive. It's funny how project teams can get so deep into managing risks
Uh-huh.
that sometimes maybe the most obvious, straightforward solution just gets completely missed.
It really does happen. And that's actually what we're diving into today, the different strategies for handling project risks.
Yeah, how teams respond.
Exactly. And thinking about the book Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabone, it really highlights something crucial teams sometimes will overlook.
Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. A project team sitting around brainstorming. They've identified some risks. What do they typically suggest? What comes up?
Well, you often hear things like maybe outsourcing a tricky part, shifting that risk to someone else.
Right, that's risk transfer.
Precisely. Or they might say, let's invest in better training for our people. That's trying to reduce the chance of problems.
Mitigation makes sense.
What else? Then there's the let's just keep an eye on its strategy.
Risk acceptance. Just deal with it if it actually happens.
Yeah. And sometimes, though it's not really recommended, a risk just gets ignored. Passive acceptance, you could call it.
Which isn't ideal, obviously.
Definitely not proactive. You also see teams focusing on fixing issues really fast when they pop up.
Trying to minimize the damage. Another kind of mitigation, really.
Exactly.
So, okay, we have transferring it, mitigating it either by reducing likelihood or impact accepting it. But thinking about that list does feel like something's missing, a really fundamental option.
You're leading right to it. What if? What if they didn't do the activity that carries the risk in the first place? Avoidance.
That's the one, risk avoidance. It's powerful, but, surprisingly easy to forget it's even on the table.
Why do you think that is? Why is it missed?
Well, maybe there's a bias towards action.
Mm.
Or perhaps teams feel they have to do every single planned activity. They don't question if there's another way entirely.
It sounds almost too simple when you say it like that. If task X is risky and we can reach our goal with task Y instead, just do task Y. Exactly. Sidestep the whole problem. When it's actually feasible, avoidance is often the most effective strategy because it eliminates the risk completely. No activity, no threat.
Of course, you can't always just drop a task.
No, absolutely not. It has to be practical, but it should definitely be considered consciously.
What about some other ideas people might throw out? Like assigning a tough job to the most senior person.
Sure, but that really falls under mitigation, doesn't it? You're reducing the probability of failure by using expertise.
Okay, yeah. Or getting insurance.
Yeah, that's clearly transfer. You're shifting the financial consequences.
And building a prototype first.
Mitigation again. You're trying to find and fix problems early, reducing the impact if the full thing goes wrong.
So it seems the core idea here, the big takeaway, is that project teams need to consciously run through all four options. Avoid, mitigate, transfer, accept.
Absolutely. Don't just default to mitigation or acceptance without asking, hey, can we just not do this risky part?
It forces a broader look at the problem.
It really does. Remembering avoidance can be a total game changer, potentially saving a lot of grief down the line.
It's about being proactive and, well, maybe a bit creative in finding ways around problems, not just through them.
That sums it up nicely.
This was really insightful. Thinking about all those options is key. For anyone listening who wants to get a really solid handle on this and other project management topics, we definitely recommend the book we mentioned earlier, Project Management for Project Managers by Orlando Casabone.
Yeah, it's a great resource. Very practical stuff in there.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Think back on a project you were part of. Was there a risk, a potential headache that maybe, just maybe, could have been avoided entirely with a different approach from the start? Something to ponder. Until next time on The Deep Dive.